everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. My name is Samantha Genser. I'm going to be your show host for you today. We have a very exciting episode for you guys. We are going to be covering the recent NWSL games, predictions on the College Softball World Series, the Asian Gymnastics Championships, the Women's Track and Field Prefontaine results, and make sure you stay till the end to hear about the North America West Region CrossFit semifinal results. Before we begin, I wanted to ask you guys to like and follow the show and to become a part of our show to tip and donate using the link gsmcpodcast.net. Also, we do get a lot of questions that come in from viewers during the show, so to ensure that your questions get read on the air, I ask that you use the link gsmcpodcast.net. This puts your questions at the top of the list so that I see them, and of course, it really does help the show, and we really do appreciate it. Again, the link is gsmcpodcast.net. Now, let's get started. I hope you guys enjoy today's content. Okay, we're going to be starting off today's episode by talking about the recent NWSL game, National Women's Soccer League. So, we're going to talk about the games from May 17th to May 25th. So, those games all include the North Carolina Courage v. Utah Royals, Houston Dash v. Portland Thorns, the KC Current v. Racing Louisville, the Seattle Reign v. Orlando Pride, the Bay FC v. San Diego Wave, Washington Spirit v. Angel City, Gotham v. Chicago Red Stars, Angel City v. San Diego Wave, the Washington Spirit v. Seattle Reign, the Bay FC v. Gotham, the Utah Royals v. KC Current, the Orlando Pride v. Portland Reigns, the Houston Dash v. North Carolina Courage, and the Chicago Red Stars v. Racing Louisiana. So, if you heard any of those games that you were interested in hearing about, we're going to be talking about all of those on here today. I'm excited to get started. So, to start, we're going to obviously talk about May 17th's games to start. The North Carolina Courage beat the Utah Royals 1-0. The Courage scored their goal in the second half by Kaleigh Kurtz, assisted by Brianna Pinto. Kurtz is 28 years old and has been playing on this team since 2018. Should not score any goals in 2018, 2019, 2021, and 2023, and 2020 was excluded because that was during COVID, so not a normal season. We don't need to get into that. She did score 3 goals in 2022. She plays center back, so I think it's impressive that she ended up scoring because you don't typically hear defensive centers scoring as often. The way the goal happened was particularly epic, I'll say. Ashley Sanchez, number 2, crossed the ball way across the field, and then Pinto followed up with it and missed the goal. I'm not sure if it was on purpose or to cross it, and then Kurtz passed it right through the net when the goalkeeper was completely out of position. The Courage did pretty much dominate the game. They had 20 shots total, with 6 of those actually being in target of the goal. And they also had 63% of possession of the ball and just more accurate passes in general. So they did pretty much dominate the entire game. Next game is the Portland Thorns v. Houston Dash, which ended in a 2-0 win for the Portland Thorns. The Portland Thorns really dominated with 22 attempted shots total and 10 that were actually on target. But still, the Houston Dash did pretty good keeping up as they had 12 attempted shots in total. Both goals were scored in the second half by Anna Diaz and Olivia Moultrie. Diaz is a forward and Moultrie is a midfielder who has already scored 3 goals this season. She is a really dominant player for the Portland Thorns, and she has been a good scorer for the team since 2022. Next game, we have a tie with the Kansas City Current and Racing Louisville, with a final score of 3-3. This was an interesting game since it was a pretty high-scoring game. The possession throughout the game was pretty 50-50, and both of the passing accuracy was about the same. So these two teams matched very evenly, pretty much. Defender Gabriella Robinson and midfielder Savannah De Mello scored 2 goals for Louisville. Defender Style Balansager Pedersen of KC Current scored her goal for her own team. Obviously, it was an accident, but whenever that happens, I always get secondhand embarrassment, and I just feel so bad for the player because of the guilt you must have. Anyway, we're going to talk about some other games where own goals did unfortunately happen. Midfielder Michelle Cooper, midfielder Lou Labonta, and midfielder Emma Sears scored the 3 goals for KC Current. The Seattle Reign FC and Orlando Pride went head-to-head that same day, and the final score was 3-2 with Orlando Pride winning. Possession of the ball was pretty 50-50, so really, I guess it could have gone either way. But as we know, Orlando Pride has been on top. They have been winning all of their games, so it's not a shocker that they won another one. And I mean, if you're rooting for Orlando Pride, I'm sure you're very happy to see that they have this huge winning streak right now. But Seattle Reign got more shots on goal, so it seems like they would have gotten a better chance to win, but the Pride defense and goalkeeper were outstanding throughout the game. Emily Sam scored the first goal for the Pride, and Barbra Banda, who is one of the highest goal scorers in Olympic history, scored the other 2 goals for the Pride. Bethany Balser and Harrod James Turner each scored a goal for the Seattle Reign. Having Banda on the Pride team is a huge threat to any competitor. She is so skilled, speedy, and a great shooter, and she really is the powerhouse superstar soccer player on the Pride team. Of course, I'm not saying that she's the star on the team as of right now, looking at the amount of goals that she scored, but of course there are a bunch of other players on the Pride team who are super good and dominating as well. Next game we're going to talk about is the Bay FC v San Diego Wave, where the final score was 2-1 with the Bay winning. The Bay only had 6 shots in total, whereas the Wave had a total of 15. That's a huge difference. Yet the Bay was able to come out on top, but the reason that they ended up winning is because San Diego defender Hannah Ludkovist scored a goal for the opposing team, and then Scarlett Canberra scored a goal for her team for the Bay. The first goal of the game was from the San Diego Wave by Kira Carusa, so they did take the lead in the beginning, but then they got the game tied, and then their defense kind of fell a bit flat, I'll say. The Washington Spirit and Angel City FC went head-to-head with the Washington Spirit, coming on top 4-2. This game was super intense because it was a high-scoring game. When the game kicked off, Trinity Rodman scored a goal for the Spirit. Then Anya Boutel, who is a defender for the Spirit, scored a goal for the Angel City, so that was not great. Then Sydney Leroux scored a goal for Angel City. Afterwards, the Spirit scored 3 more goals in a row. Another one by Trinity Rodman, one from Casey Kruger, and one from Ulemata Sar. So the Angel City seemed to be dominating after the Spirit's first goal, with one of their defenders scoring for the opposing team. But then the Spirit really came back with 3 goals leading to their victory. On Sunday, May 19th, Gotham v Chicago Red Stars went... Ooh. Oh my goodness, that was so weird. I'm so sorry, guys. Technical difficulties right there. Okay, we are talking about Gotham v... Uh-oh. Oh no, guys, I'm so sorry. Give it a solid, there we go. Okay, I'm so sorry about that. We're going to talk about Gotham v Chicago Red Stars. They played against each other with a final score of 2-1. Gotham won the game. Lynn Williams and Ella Stevens scored the goals for Gotham, and on the other side, Penelope Hawking scored the 1 goal for the Chicago Red Stars. Gotham just had more dominance on the field. They had more shots attempted and had more possession throughout the game, so it's not a shocker that they did end up coming on top. They just kind of had that more look of strength as a team compared to their opponents, the Red Stars. On Thursday, May 23rd, there was another game where Angel City and San Diego Wave went head to... Okay, now Okay, guys, I'm so sorry. I think there is... Okay, wait. Guys, I'm so sorry. There is some out of order here. Okay, there you go. Angel City and San Diego Wave went head-to-head. Sorry, guys, about this. Pictures not being in order, and there's some technical difficulties. Anyway, we're all human. We all make mistakes. We're just going to move past it. So, Angel City v San Diego Wave. It was a pretty uneventful game, considering that the score ended up in a tie 0-0, which is really unfortunate for both teams. Both teams had a pretty good amount of shots attempted, which is not good that they were both unable to score, but also good for their teams for having good defense, if you think about it. Angel City had a total of 11 shots attempted, while the Wave had a total of 15 shots attempted. Both teams were pretty heavy with fouls. Also, Angel City had 9 fouls, and San Diego Wave had 12 fouls. It was a pretty evenly matched game, and it was almost 50-50 in possession throughout the game. It really could have gone either way. It was an even matched game, but it does kind of stink that it ended in a 0-0 tie. Okay, Now, let's talk about the Orlando Pride v Portland Thorns game, which was one of the most exciting games in the past week. The game had a final score of 2-1 with the Pride winning. That didn't come as a shock to me. I feel like the Orlando Pride had been pretty dominant and been doing very well in past games, obviously, and it made sense that they came out on top. Barbra Banda scored both the goals for the Pride, so she really has been their superpower. Izzy De Aquila scored the goal for the Portland Thorns, but it just wasn't enough. Banda has been really impressing me this season, and having her score both of those goals obviously gave them a huge boost as a team. The Washington Spirit and Seattle Reign went head-to-head with a final score, a very high-scoring game, final score of 3-2. The Spirit had a total of 3 goals, and the Seattle Reign had a total of 2 goals. Corey Bethune, Andy Sullivan, and Ulemata Sarr scored the 3 goals for the Spirit. Sarr scored a goal during the previous Spirit game, so she has been doing very well for the team, obviously. Veronica Lasco and Emery Adame scored both the goals for Seattle Reign. The Houston Dash and North Carolina Courage went against each other that same day, and the Houston Dash dominated, winning the game 3-0. Ramona Bachman, Barbara Oliveira, and Deanna Ordonez scored the 3 goals. The North Carolina Courage still had some shots on goals, but they just weren't successful. The last game on May 24th was Bay v Gotham, where Gotham won 2-0. Ella Stevens scored both the goals, and in the last game by Gotham, she also scored a goal. So Stevens has really been a star player for the team, just like Banda being the star scorer for the Pride. Stevens is being sort of the star goal scorer for the Gotham. Both teams, I felt like in this game, were pretty evenly matched. It was pretty 50-50 for possession throughout the game, yet the Bay was just not successful. We have 2 more games to talk about. Both took place on May 25th. Racing Louisville beat the Chicago Red Stars 1-0. Emma Sears scored the goal for Louisville, and she scored the goal last game, so she has been a star on the team as well. Louisville got 21 shots attempted, and they only scored 1 goal, so that percentage is obviously not great. But still, they won the game, and at the end of the day, that's the main thing that matters. I always critique little small things, about percentage-wise, a ratio of how many you got in versus how many, how many shots attempted versus how much you actually got on target and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's if you won, you won. That's good. Okay, the last game we're going to talk about is the Utah Royals playing against the KC Current, and the KC Current came out on top 1-0. Elizabeth Ball scored the goal for the Current. This game actually kind of shocked me for how close the game was, because the KC Current is ranked 2nd in the league, and the Utah Royals is ranked last and number 14th in the league. I feel like the KC Current should have had more of an opportunity to dominate the game. I think this is a good sign for the Utah Royals, though. They have lost all their games so far this season, and maybe this not too bad of a loss is a good sign that they could step up their game. Still, KC Current did win, but I just felt like they should have gotten more shots on target and more goals attempted in general. So we're now going to move on to our next segment, where we're going to talk about the College Softball World Series predictions. Before we start, we are going to be taking a very short break, so I will see you guys very soon.